So Vivek Ramaswamy is the resident Indian in Maga, and shout out to the Indian community, which y'all heavy, but Vivek is still, I was wondering where he went. I'm like, bro, where is, bro, it's way too many white faces I'm seeing right now. Where are the black people at? Where are the brown people at? I was wondering where Vivek was in the midst of all of this. And it seems like Vivek has, he's crawled out of like whatever cave he was hiding in Ohio. And he was recently at a Turning Point USA event in Ohio. And he was reminded yet again, you're brown. He was reminded yet again, you're brown. A bunch of like 20, 19, 18-year-old MAGAs start lecturing him about Jesus and God. And do you think you should run Ohio if you don't represent us? And da-da-da-da-da. And I'm wondering how much thinly veiled racism Vivek can take before he finally just cracks.
Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity is the one truth.
Christian voices should be the main voice of America, and I want to know basically why you seem to be, and I don't mean to be horribly offensive, but why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian.
You familiar with the Ten Commandments?
You call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself Christian.
I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu. I'm not running to be pastor of Ohio. I'm running to be governor of Ohio, and I didn't run to be pastor of America.
Dude, do you get it? You're fucking brown. Like the kid told you, you're Indian and you're Hindu. What makes you think you should represent 64% of Ohioans, however you say that shit? What makes you think you can represent LeBron? You're brown. You can't represent LeBron. Vivek. The unfortunate reality is these kids don't know what the fuck they're saying. America this, America that. Generally speaking, yes, they're right. America was founded by white Christians. However, 64% of Ohioans are not the only people in Ohio. There are people in Ohio who are not Christian. Do they not reserve? Are they not? Is representation not reserved for them? Is it only reserved for Christians? Is it not supposed to be a nation in which all people reserve the right to pursue any kind of life they want as long as they're not harming anyone else? Is it not a nation in which you can be an atheist or a deist or a Christian or whatever the fuck you want to believe in? A lot of the founding fathers were culturally Christian, presented Christian morals and ethics, but a lot of the founding fathers were not actual believers, which is not hard to believe considering the fact that they established a very liberal democratic republic. Liberal in terms of rights for people who, straight white men that own, land and so on and so forth. But for their time, these guys were pretty liberal in terms of their own community. When they sit there and tell you, Vivek, that how can you, a Hindu, do this and do that, what they mean is how can you, an Indian guy, who's only like one generation removed from India, what makes you think you can be governor of Ohio? Now, the ironic thing is, you represent their ideology. You are a Republican politician. You are a conservative politician. There shouldn't be a problem here. I've never seen Vivek in one day of my life ever promote Hinduism, say that America should be Hindu. I've seen him promote that H-1B shit, which, by the way, actually does kind of prove that Vivek is a snake. But I want Vivek to understand there is no amount of bending over you can do to please these kids. These are young people who don't know much about the world, have not met people of different racial groups, religious beliefs. They've never stepped out of their bubble a day in their life. They don't understand how much of an ass they come across as in these conversations. Vivek, you need to realize and understand you will never be good enough for this ideology. You are brown and you are Hindu. Ann Coulter told it to you to your face. She literally told you after she cracked the joke about black people, and you laughed, you laughed, you did laugh. After you laughed, she sat there and said, I would vote for you, but you're an Indian. Not you're Indian, you're an Indian. Every other part of your identity is superseded by the fact that you are of Indian blood in their eyes. You're from Ohio, you're a billionaire who made money scamming old white people out of Alzheimer's medicine, which is sick. You actually should never touch office a day in your life because of that. But, you've done some things in your life. You got kids, you're a family man, you're a religious man, you scam old people. You actually kind of fit into the conservative elite space, You're actually fitting into the elite politician, wealthy conservative space, scamming white America out of their wealth, treating them like shit behind their backs, being an overall piece of shit. You're up there. But see, the fact that you're Indian, or my bad, an Indian supersedes everything else you've done up to this point, Vivek. When are you going to realize this? When are you going to wake up to the fact that you will never be accepted in this movement? It is an ethno-nationalist, Christo-fascist movement, and you're not a part of the club. And I'm saying this as a black man. I know I'll never be a part of the Maga club for real. Not that I want to be. I'm blue. I'm a liberal. I'm a Democrat. But Vivek, I see in the video, you've been lightening your face recently with makeup. You're lightening your face. Vivek, it's too fucking late. There's like 20 syllables in your name. Vivek, bro, your name is Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek, I believe is how you pronounce it. Your name is Vivek Ramaswamy. You being Indian under normal standards, in a normal situation would not matter. I don't care that you're Indian. Kamala Harris is half Indian. I voted for Harris. I don't give a fuck. She could have been the whitest white woman from a fucking cave in the Caucasus Mountains. If she was proposing policies I wanted, I was gonna vote for her 100 times over. I wouldn't care. That's the difference between me and these people, though. These people of this ideology, they don't care about whether or not you're going to make life better for people in Ohio. They're asking about whether or not you're a Christian. As if you're going to get into office and promote non-Christian laws or some shit. As if you would step out of your place. I mean, to be fair, you're kind of becoming a boy. You're kind of being their boy, right? You're the only Indian in politics beside Bobby Jindal and what's the other guy's name? Dinesh D'Souza. My bad. There's quite a few of you. But why can't you be like the Indians on our side, Why can't you MAGA blacks, MAGA Indians, this is sounding racist. Anyways, why can't you MAGA blacks and you MAGA Indians and so on and so forth just see the fucking light? Has Donald Trump not yeeted enough Mexicans over the border for y'all to realize? Cubans, Venezuelans, all of those, I would vote for Donald Trump. All the niggas doing that little salsa dance over there, they got yeeted all the way over the border. Donald Trump interrupted them mid-salsa, turned the music off, and just yeeted them over the border. When are you going to wake up? You got Latinas in Miami begging Donald Trump to stop deporting these good, fine people in Miami. You missed the mass deportations part, didn't you? Didn't you? And it all encapsulates the nature of this movement. When will you people realize, when will you non-Anglo-Saxon, non-Christian Protestant, when will you all realize you're not a part of the club? You are just a chess piece that needs to be moved for necessity's sake only. When your necessity is at its end, they will remove you from the board. Wake up. Wake up. These are kids who don't know anything about life, hounding him about God is the only true God and any other God is a demon. Dude, you've only been alive for 18 years. You do not know anything about this world, period. You do not know what reality is. You do not know anything about life, much less the universe, much less God. You're a child. You are a child. And this is part of the reason why this country is fucked up, is because there's no proper separation of church and state. The church has no business being involved in the state. And the reason being is because people who are zealous, believers in God, I don't care what religion, Christian, Muslim, whatever, real zealots, they don't have any regard for actual governance. They make everything about God, everything about religion. They tend to not really give a fuck about things like healthcare and affordable housing, and they don't give a fuck. They don't care about actual governance. They tend to persecute and oftentimes prosecute their religious enemies or just people who happen to believe differently from them. This is the problem with mixing religion with the state, is it actually deprives Americans of the freedom that they claim to love so much. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Inviting God into the government actually destroys freedom. It does. Wake up. The founding fathers understood this. They were protecting you from yourselves. The founding fathers knew the average person is fucking stupid. So they put in a shit ton of laws and mutual understandings between gentlemen to understand and realize we're not going to touch this, because you know how people get with that. People can't handle that. People can't understand that. The founding fathers understood that the state did not need to be mixed with religion. Understand and realize there is, Vivek, by the way, you need to understand and realize there is nothing, and I mean nothing, godly about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the least Christ-like president I have ever seen in my life. I don't believe for 1 second Barack Obama's a Christian, period. I think he's an atheist. I don't believe Kamala Harris is a believer. I don't know if she's a believer. I doubt she's a believer. I really doubt any real politician is a believer. I'm just being honest here. Donald Trump literally was on stage in the lead up to the election and said, I'm not a Christian, but you vote for me. I love the Christians. You gotta vote for me. You vote for me, you'll never have to vote again. That's what he says. On camera. The guy says on camera, I'm not a Christian. This is in the wake of everything he's done up to this point. This man has talked about grabbing people by the pussy. He literally told Megyn Kelly she was bleeding out of her wherever because she asked him a question he didn't like during a debate. This is a man who cheated on his wife with a porn star after the wife gave birth to Barron Trump. This is a guy who literally hosted beauty pageants for teenagers and went to the back room to watch them change. This is a guy who was homeboys with Epstein. Donald Trump is not a soldier of Christ. He's an enemy of Christ. Donald Trump is not a warrior for God. Donald Trump is a deceiver. These kids don't care about the fact that Donald Trump is not Christ-like. The Bible itself says faith without works is dead. Donald Trump don't got no works to back up the faith that he used to claim he had. 2 Corinthians, many Corinthians, so many Corinthians. So many Corinthians, Indians, Corinthians. Vivek, it might be your favorite book, Corinthians, 2 Corinthians. This is the kind of guy you're dealing with. A guy who does not know he thinks it's 2 Corinthians. This nigga's been on earth 70-something years at that time, like 60-something or 70-something years at that. This nigga was in his 70s saying 2 Corinthians. He's been on earth almost a century, and he doesn't know that it's 2 Corinthians? Oh my God. And a supposedly Christian nation, and a president who supposedly represents America's Christian values, and he doesn't even know that it's 2 Corinthians. Vivek, realize and understand, Donald Trump can be a lawless buffoon who clearly does not believe in God, and he can get away with it 1,000 times over, in part because he's white. You can't get away with it because you're fucking brown and Hindu. Donald Trump lies about being a Christian, brazenly says in the lead up to the biggest election in American history, I'm not a Christian, and wins. He wins. Look at you. You're getting jumped by 18-year-olds at a Turning Point USA event with fucking like skin lightening makeup on your face. You're a fucking cuck. You're an idiot. You are stupid. Very stupid. Nasty, Vivek. Nasty. Almost as bad as the blacks. You're almost there. Not there yet, but almost as bad. So bad. Vivek, you're fucking pathetic, dude. And I'm glad it's happening to you, by the way. Because you were the same guy who sat there and pretended like racism didn't exist in America. And it does. See, the solution to racism in America is not white people apologizing for racism that they probably haven't taken part in. It's not about making white people feel guilty or making white people apologize. That's not the answer. The answer is not attacking white people. The answer is not more racial tension. The answer is acknowledging the issues in the country that exist. Hey, I've acknowledged many times on my platform, straight white young men are struggling right now. They're not going to college. They're not graduating. They're not even getting jobs, career paths, skills, trades. They're falling behind. We got to help them. We can't function as a nation if we're all turning on each other in one big Mexican standoff. These kids, they don't fucking like you. They don't like you. Realize and understand, you sat there for months saying that racism isn't a thing in America and so on and so forth, and saying that Juneteenth is a useless holiday, speaking on traditions and norms that you have no right to talk about. If my son ever went to India and spoke to them the way you speak about blacks in America, I'd drop kick my son down a flight of steps. I'd pop him in the mouth. Facts. Facts. I would immediately discipline that. Who are you to go to another place, a place you have no cultural connection to, immigrant or not, citizen or not, and talk like that? Crazy. Crazy. And the people you were trying to endear yourself to by speaking ill of black Americans have nothing but contempt for you. And you deserve it, by the way. They shouldn't be nice to you. You're untrustworthy. You're the same prick who sat there and talked about bringing in H-1B visa migrants from India. All these straight white young men who could be taking up jobs in tech, and you turn on them to bring in these fucking non-citizens? What the fuck are you doing? What about Indians who are born here? What about Indian Americans that are citizens here? What about them? You gonna prioritize them? Vivek is a fucking scammer traitor. He's a traitor to Indian Americans. He's a traitor to the country. And frankly, I'm happy these kids are being racist to you. I hope black MAGAs receive the worst. I saw the Hodge twins asking white supremacists, can we move into your white supremacist neighborhood? I thank God every fucking day that white man said, absolutely not, you can't come. Praise God. Praise God. That's what y'all fucking get. That's what you get. That's what you get. Racism is abhorrent to me, point blank, period. Anti-black racism, anti-white racism, all racism is abhorrent to me, period. Vivek, you get what you deserve. You ingratiated yourself with these people, and now you're getting jumped by like fucking barely out of high school teenagers at a Turning Point USA event, as if they know more about life than you. That's what you get, and no amount of skin lightening makeup is ever gonna fix that.